When you picture Africa, what comes to mind? The Great Pyramids, standing timeless in the Egyptian sand. A safari, with giraffes grazing on acacia trees across the Serengeti. For most of us, that's where the mental map of Africa stops. But what if I told you this continent has glaciers on the equator and a desert that's been dry for 55 million years? What if I told you Africa is so vast it could swallow the USA, China, India, Japan, and most of Europe, with room to spare? The Africa you think you know is just a fraction of the real story. In truth, this is a continent of staggering diversity, divided into 5 distinct regions, each with its own jaw-dropping geographic identity. Today we're exploring 25 geographic facts that will reshape your understanding of the continent. And if you love learning about our world, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next journey. North Africa. Let's kick things off in North Africa, a region that seems familiar but is full of surprises. First, the Sahara. We know it's big, but its scale is hard to comprehend. It's the largest hot desert in the world, covering 9.2 million square kilometers, roughly the size of the United States. But it's not all sand. In fact, those iconic dunes make up only about a quarter of the desert. The rest is a vast, rugged landscape of rocky plateaus, gravel plains, and ancient dry riverbeds. When you think of pyramids, you think of Egypt. But the country with the most pyramids is actually its southern neighbor, Sudan. While Egypt has about 138 massive world-famous pyramids, Sudan is home to over 200 of them. Built by the rulers of the Kushite kingdom, they are smaller and steeper, telling the story of another powerful civilization that once thrived along the Nile. The Nile is one of the world's most legendary rivers. For centuries, it was considered the longest, though modern measurements suggest the Amazon may have it beat. But its most critical feature is its direction of flow. It runs north for over 6,650 kilometers, carving a ribbon of life through the bone-dry desert and depositing rich, fertile silt into a massive delta, the perfect cradle for one of the world's first great civilizations. Just how much does desert dominate North Africa? In Libya, a staggering 90% of the country is desert. This extreme climate has shaped every aspect of life there, compelling the vast majority of the population to live along the narrow, milder Mediterranean coast. But North Africa isn't all flat sand. The Atlas Mountains stretch for 2,500 kilometers across Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. This range functions as a massive climate barrier, separating the lush, rainy coast from the harsh Sahara and creating 2 completely different worlds, just a short distance apart. West Africa. Moving south, we enter West Africa, a region of dramatic transitions and mighty rivers. This is the home of the Sahel, a massive semi-arid belt that stretches from the Atlantic to the Red Sea. The Sahel is a region in transition, not quite desert, not quite savanna. It's a fragile zone that constantly grapples with desertification, as drought and human activity threaten to turn fertile land into desert. The future of this entire region hangs in a delicate balance. The Niger River, West Africa's lifeblood, takes a remarkable turn in Mali. Thousands of kilometers from any ocean, it fans out into a vast inland delta. This green oasis in the middle of the Sahel is a vital hub for fishing, farming, and wildlife, proving that some of the world's most important deltas don't actually lead to the sea. West Africa's geography is organized in distinct bands. As you travel from north to south, you can walk from the Sahara's scorching sands, through the semi-dry Sahel, into humid savannas, and finally arrive in dense tropical rainforests along the coast. This rapid change in climate and landscape is one of the defining features of the region. This geography of trade and transition created the perfect conditions for some of history's wealthiest empires. The Ghana, Mali, and Songhai empires all flourished here by controlling the trans-Saharan trade routes, moving gold, salt, and other goods between North Africa and the savannas to the south. Their fortunes were built directly on their position at a geographic crossroads. In the heart of the Sahel sits Lake Chad, which serves as a grim warning. Once one of the world's largest lakes, its surface area has shrunk by about 90% since the 1960s. A combination of climate change and water demands has nearly wiped it from the map, making it a powerful symbol of the environmental challenges facing this region. Central Africa. Now we dive into the heart of the continent. Central Africa, a land ruled by a colossal rainforest and an epic river. Central Africa is home to the Congo Basin, the second largest tropical rainforest on Earth, surpassed only by the Amazon. Often called the planet's second lung, this sprawling forest covers over 4 million square kilometers and plays a critical role in regulating our global climate. It is a world of incredible biodiversity, much of which remains undiscovered. Winding through this forest is the Congo River. It's Africa's second longest river, but it holds a more astonishing record. It is by far the deepest river in the world. In some places, it plunges to depths of over 220 meters or 720 feet, so deep that sunlight simply cannot reach the bottom. The Congo River has another unique distinction. Its giant, curving path is so massive that it's the only major river on the planet to cross the equator twice. This unusual journey means some part of its basin is always in a rainy season, guaranteeing a powerful constant flow all year round. While East Africa is famous for its volcanoes, Central Africa has its own fiery spine. The Cameroon volcanic line is a chain of volcanoes stretching from islands in the Atlantic right into Cameroon. This geologic fault includes Mount Cameroon, one of Africa's most active volcanoes, proving that powerful tectonic forces are actively shaping the continent today. The Congo Basin's forests are so dense and remote that they conceal animals found nowhere else. One of the most famous is the okapi, an elusive creature that looks like a cross between a giraffe and a zebra. It was completely unknown to the Western world until the early 1900s, a living symbol of the rainforest's hidden secrets. East Africa. Heading east, we find a landscape being ripped apart at the seams, creating some of the most dramatic scenery on Earth. The defining feature of East Africa is the Great Rift Valley. This is a massive geological fracture where the African tectonic plate is splitting in two. The continent is literally tearing itself apart, separating at a rate of about 6 to 7 millimeters per year. This slow-motion process has carved out vast valleys, towering cliffs, and a chain of deep, dramatic lakes. Africa's highest peak, Mount Kilimanjaro, soars to 19,341 feet in Tanzania. What makes it so special is that it's a dormant volcano just south of the equator, yet it's so massive it creates its own weather. This allows it to support glaciers and ice fields in the heart of tropical Africa. Nestled between the two arms of the Great Rift Valley is Lake Victoria, the largest lake in Africa and the world's largest tropical lake. This vast inland sea serves as the primary source of the White Nile, one of the two great tributaries that form the legendary Nile River. Ethiopia's geography is dominated by the Ethiopian highlands, a rugged mountain range often called the Roof of Africa. This terrain acted as a natural fortress, helping Ethiopia resist colonial invasion and remain one of the only African nations to maintain its independence. It is also home to one of the most alien-looking places on Earth, the Danakil Depression, one of the lowest and hottest spots on the planet. The Serengeti, spanning Tanzania and Kenya, isn't just a place, it's an epic natural event. This is the stage for the Great Migration, the largest overland animal migration on the planet. Every year, over 1.5 million wildebeest, along with hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, travel in a massive loop, relentlessly following the rains in search of fresh grass. Southern Africa. Our journey ends in Southern Africa, a land of ancient deserts, thundering water, and a biological miracle. Along the coast of Namibia lies the Namib Desert, widely considered the oldest desert in the world. It has been locked in a state of extreme dryness for at least 55 million years. Its iconic rust-red sand dunes are among the tallest on Earth, sculpted by winds that have been blowing for millennia. On the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe, the Zambezi River plummets 355 feet to create Victoria Falls. Known locally as Mosi Oa-Tunya, or the smoke that thunders, it isn't the highest or widest waterfall in the world, but it forms the largest single sheet of falling water. During the rainy season, its spray can be seen from nearly 50 kilometers away. In South Africa, you'll find an entire plant kingdom contained within a single country. The Cape Floral Kingdom is the smallest of the world's 6 floral kingdoms, but is by far the most diverse. It covers less than 0.5% of Africa, but holds nearly 20% of the continent's plant species. And over 70% of those plants exist nowhere else on Earth. In Botswana, a river performs a vanishing act. The Okavango River flows from the Angolan highlands, not to the sea, but directly into the Kalahari Desert. There, it spreads out to create the Okavango Delta, the world's largest inland delta. This lush wetland in the middle of a desert is a paradise for wildlife, a true oasis that appears and vanishes with the seasonal floods. Finally, let's look at history through the lens of geography. The region once known as Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe and Zambia, is dominated by a vast, mineral-rich plateau called the High Veld. This elevated grassland, framed by the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers, was not merely a backdrop for history. Its fertile soils, mild climate, and mineral wealth directly fueled colonial settlement, resource conflicts, and the independence struggles that defined the region. From the shifting sands of the world's oldest desert to a continent literally splitting in two, from a river so deep that light can't find its bottom to mountains holding glaciers on the equator, Africa's geography is a story of epic scale and mind-blowing diversity. The popular image of pyramids and savannas isn't wrong, it's just wonderfully incomplete. The real Africa is a complex, dynamic, and breathtaking tapestry woven across 5 incredible regions. And we've only just scratched the surface. What was the most surprising fact to you? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.